Hello, everybody. Back at in the studio, living room. Well, I guess shit. Bedroom, garage. We're doing edge rushers, as you can hopefully tell, uh, from the the three people we have on the thumbnail here. Top 20, because this is a very important, valuable position that a lot of teams want. So a lot of depth in this class, but not like, I don't know, not the biggest surefire guys this year, I guess. Like the big name, all pros. This guy's gonna be Von Miller. This guy's gonna be J.J. Watt. None of that shit, I guess. But there's still some guys at the top that are could be elite, and again, just all around talents. So fuck it. 20 to 16 first. We got Karan Crawford out of Auburn. Powerful guy, good help in the run. Doesn't have that big of a pass rush move, I guess. That's why he's lower on boards. Maybe a tad undersized. May probably play 3-4 outside linebacker, probably, from the looks of him. Athletic enough. Then we got Mikhail Kamara out of Indiana. I got some little notes here on the side. Yeah, just a solid guy all around. I believe he was one of the JMU guys that Kurt brought up there. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but just a solid, tough nosed player. He has some explosiveness to him. Little undersized though. He might have a length issue, maybe wingspan. I'm guessing. That's how people are. With the tackles and the edges, they're gonna hate on the guys with the shorter arms, and just if he has the consistent power to face ends. But I think you can move him along the line too. Maybe. I think. Did he do that in India? I believe he did, but. If not, correct me again. But yeah, just a solid football player. I want to get guys who I know are just good, solid football players on this list. As much as I love the talented, athletic guys with the potential, like just give me guys who've produced and are good at playing the game of football. Trey Moore, though, one of the more, I guess, the latter of what I was saying. Texas, he was a little more productive, I'd say, at UTSA. Has a nice, quick first step, good enough bend to him. But, he might be a little undersized against the run. So, he's not going to be on the field for all 3 downs. But, passing downs, get him in there, give him a couple snaps. He can be a rotational guy, at the very least, I think. Kind of the same thing with Anthony Lucas. I like him a lot. So I guess that's why I put him on the thumbnail. He is... he has good length. You can see his wingspan. You can just tell. Good frame to him. Inside and outside versatility. But just isn't the consistent pass rusher. You guys know how it is with those UFC defenses. None of them are consistent for the most part. When we talk about their safeties, I guess, they've had some good safeties past couple of years, I've noticed. They get guys. Lincoln Riley, he recruits good, talented guys. It's just the coordinator. It's never right. The development, the position coaches, I don't know what it is. But he can get better at pad level and leverage as well. Romello Height, a part of that great Texas Tech defense. I was going to say front seven, but just all of them, really. We're going to talk about all, pretty much every position in my rankings for him. Good athleticism. He has a good pass rush upside. He flashes bend and speed off the edge. Does it sound like I'm talking from AI, folks? But yeah, just good. I guess there is a bit of a gap between him and Bailey, but you can just tell how well they work together on the edges and set it. He's still a little raw though. Give him some technique, some skill of hand placements and front knots, and just consistently getting a plan. But like him a lot. He could be higher. Same thing with Anthony Lucas, really. But again, that's how deep this class is. You know, if I put them in tiers, it wouldn't. You know, there'd be like a bunch of people in tier C and then a bunch of people in tier B and A. Yeah, let's go to 15. My boy Big Cock Curry out of the. I mean, come on, guys. Caden Curry, Ohio State champion, leader, tough nose, intelligent. You know me, glazing. Good first step. You know, I really do try my best, folks, to not be biased with my Ohio State guys. You know, I didn't rank Tommy Eichenberg in my linebackers class that one year he came out. You know, I'm not. Yeah, I try my best. He might be the only example. You know, CJ Stroud was 1B, 1A with Bryce. I gave Bryce the 1A just to be, you know, be a humble man. You know, Meko Buka last year, who's my third receiver, he could have easily been 1 for me, and especially the first half of the season, how he's looking. So I might be biased, but I mean, with these Ohio State guys, I've literally watched them my whole career. I don't need to watch watch tape of 4 games of these people, and you know that's my whole opinion. It's just the 4 games that I decided to watch you on film. You know, I've watched these people's whole career. You know, he might not have the consistent power to face edge rushers or have the hand technique and wiggle to him, but I think he's an athletic enough guy. Good help in the run defense. I mean, hell, I could have had him way higher, guys. If we're really being, if we're being honest, this is my guy. This is one of my favorites, obviously. Yeah, 14, Joshua Joseph at Tennessee. Again, more athletic than Caden, a little better wingspan than him, so I got him here. He's better. I'd say maybe at consistently getting pressure. I can see that upside in him, but he might be a liability in the run game that can improve. You know, really relies on speed. You know, doesn't have the biggest move. You know, with these college edge rushers, they're not all going to have Dwight Freeney bags and, you know, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watts, the world. You know, they got to be developed. These are all molds of clay, very athletic guys. Especially this group of guys, they could all been in the top 10 if not for, you know, this reason or that reason. Like Gabe Akis out of Illinois, great career there, powerful presence, flashes the ability to generate pressure with effort. You know, just like how I do with these analyses that I definitely handwritten myself. You know, isn't the most flexible guy. You know, has some good motor to him, though, like good effort to him. He's not the most athletic guy, but I think he makes up with that in his effort and what have you. Kind of same thing with Malachi Lawrence, a big physical guy, nice size and power. Isn't the best at run defense, so, you know, get him in obvious passing downs. He can make some plays, wingspan, get his hand up to flex some passes for you. A lot of people like him, so he... I don't know if he could sneak in the first round because I don't know if NFL teams like him, but, you know, all the scouts and online personnel like him a lot. He's one of the little darlings. You know, I like him. I'm not going to hate on him, but, you know, some people are just way high. Like I'm telling you, like top 5 damn near. So, again, if he gets drafted sooner than what you think, because you don't watch UCF, don't be surprised, I guess is what I'm telling you. And then 11, denied Dennis Sutton out of Penn State. Again, another one of those guys, just like pretty much everyone on that team, but, you know, it's a running thing with me. You know, had a better 2024 tape than the one coming out now, but, you know, good length to him, good power. You know, he has bursts, he has some good hand usage to some degree. Just the consistency, really. You know, like snap to snap, play to play, and, you know, you kind of wonder if Penn State just as a team gave up after that UCLA game. You know, the Oregon game was a heartbreaker, close loss, and then UCLA they collapsed, so they're like, fuck it, we don't care. Yeah, he could also get some moves to him. You guys know how it is. Number 10, LT Overton out of Alabama. He's a guy that I'm a little higher on. Well, damn near a lot higher on than consensus. I don't think he's in many people's top 10s. Good power, good versatility. He's just a standard defensive end, 3-4 base, whatever else you want to do. 4-2-5, shit like that. Doesn't have the biggest rush moves, doesn't have the bend to him because he's more of a bigger guy. You think of Darius Robinson out of Mizzou a couple years ago, who a lot of people loved. I wasn't that high on. We're going to have to see the tape, see how good he's been. But I don't hear a lot of people talk about him, but I still think he has, some potential to him. I just wasn't the highest on him then. You can line him up anywhere at tackle, at this end, at this other end. I think he'll be a good stalemate for you in the defense. Number 9, we got Derek Moore out of second to third round pick. Speaking of this bum, I was working today and I saw a dude in a Michigan shirt. And you guys know now I live in Oklahoma. So that just tells you this rivalry is worldwide. I even gone to some local sports stores and they sell Ohio State and Michigan jerseys and shit, World famous. The Big Ten is running the South even. So look at that, folks. But yeah, good explosiveness, good motor to him when he wants to. He's not getting bullied by Austin Serveld. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, good rangy athlete. Isn't the bendiest. Can get a little stiff-hipped. Can get some more technique to him. But I think he can, the whole pressures versus sack debate. It's a very, very nerdy and lame, I'd admit, argument online with the nerds of us that think we know better football than most people. I think he can generate a lot of pressures. Let's see if that can translate to sacks. Got a comp of Josh Uche, another Wolverine. He had that one good year with 11.5 sacks, and then he hasn't really done shit else. So hopefully he can be more consistent, because he was damn near top 10 edge rusher in the league. A lot of people liked him again because he had a lot of pressures, and then he had that great production year, and then he's just bounced around a couple teams now. We don't know. It's all right, folks. Let's see. Hopefully he can have a better career there. Number 8, Zion Young out of Mizzou. Another Missouri edge rusher who I guess I'm not as high on as other people. First or second round, he can get in the back end. Again, I don't know if how much analysts and YouTubers love for these people translate to the actual GMs, they have him top 5 and first round pick, but we don't know from NFL teams. At least I haven't. I guess I can do more deep dives into everyone's fan base and see what their GMs are talking about for you guys in later years, but I don't know. I like him a lot, though. He's not my favorite, but I think he's still going to potentially be a good player. I just like guys more, I guess. I've seen more out of them, and I'm just banking on their developments and what have you nots. But, again, good motor. He's a captain, smart guy. I don't think, hopefully, no jinxing like James Pierce. He's not going to have any off-the-field issues or any of that dumb shit. Great footwork, good step to him. He doesn't have the leg strength, the lower strength to really get up in you, or the hand speed to really swim out of you, but I still think he's a relatively good athlete on the edge that can produce a lot. You think of a guy like Arden Key, at the very least a good guy in your rotation that you would want, if not, starter for years to come. So I hope I am underrating him. As number 7, my boy, since we're down in Oklahoma, are Mason Thomas. Again, I just like him a little bit more. I think he has a little bit more explosiveness to him, more bend. He's another guy like Ruben Bain. We're going to talk about anyone else that might, have the smaller arm or shorter wingspans. So, in with the run support, how well do you think he can help you down to down, and just, overall consistency there with moves in your repertoire? But, when he's at his best and he's not injured, just a very explosive guy. You get pressure constantly. You think a guy like Bryce Huff, who retired to do some scientist shit, or something like important. I don't know. We'll look it up. I just heard it like an hour ago. What specific job he's doing now. Um, Shout out to him, I guess. But if he can make that impact, get with a guy like Salah or someone from that 49ers defense tree. Um, yeah, like the Texans. Like, imagine him being in the rotation with the Texans D line. Having D'Amico Ryans coaching him up. But regardless, I think he's a high end edge rusher. You're going to sack the quarterback, right? That's what we got here as another bursty, twitchy guy, Cassius Howe, out of Texas A&M. He has conflicting. Some people love him, some people hate him. I like him. I guess I'm in the middle with those type of guys. I try to be, because I don't really. There's no point of me hating on these young men. Living the dream, living what all of us wanted to do. So I'll always support them to some extent. Anyway, active hands stays up in the lineman's grill, good burst. I think he can get some spin moves in. More outside. I think he can get some more inside moves, pressures. Let's see if he can go under or over the guard. Isn't the best at run support. That's what run strength means. I like to make up different wording for the same cons or pros just to make it fresh, because some of these guys, a lot of them have the same pros and cons. I try my best to get something different. Technique, just foot technique, hand technique, getting techniquing. Will McDonald IV, a nice young developmental. He's had some ups, he's had some downs with the Jets. I see him in a similar light, especially with that size. I usually don't, at least I don't personally, when I make comps based on their height and weight, but I know a lot of people do. Sometimes it correlates, sometimes it doesn't. Number 5, I got Kedrick Falk out of Auburn, who, again, people hate. This is the guy everyone hates. I guess it's like the Shamar Stewart thing. It's, the guy that doesn't have the pass rushing production that you'd want out of a pass rusher. But he's great at run stopping. I think he's one of the best run stoppers in this class, like top 3, I'd say. Good versatility. You can line up out anywhere. He's more of a base 3-4 D end. I'd want him in one of those, not like an outside linebacker. Doesn't have the biggest flexibility. Doesn't really have a rush package move, but I see the length, the size, the athleticism to some extent. Again, develop him up. I think he can be someone like Carlos Dunlap. And if not, then he can be, Colin Farrell, Miles Murphy, Shamar Stewart. I guess these guys who, don't get the production that you want, which I guess I wouldn't be surprised either way. But, I guess I like him because so many people hate him. I have to like you know how I am. It's just to even it out, that's what the world needs. So, yeah, first or second, I can see it. Number 4 might be controversial. Akeem Mesidor out of the U. I think he's more of an indie guy, To all my wrestling fans, I think you guys get what that means. Like, the online people like him because he has good technique, good craftsmanship to him, good first step, active hands. But he's older. He's 25. He has a lot of injury histories. So people that it might deter you from doing that, which I don't blame you. That's why I was so hesitant and not on board with Tyler Shugg last year, and he produced better than what I thought he would. So I guess I like it more at the edge position than quarterback because I'm not basing my whole potential offense and team success on this guy. But yeah, I think he can just right away go into your rotation and make an impact, give you some good production to some extent. His speed to power isn't the best, and we all know what that means. Like just when it comes to like getting off the snap and running and getting all of his energy and making it absorb through his bodies some anime shit, but for all the more intelligent than me play, you guys know what I mean by that. And base, he can get pushed off, get a little more power to him, just body wise, lower extremities and what have you nots. Byron Young out of the Rams, similar light, I think, and athletic guy who can get in there and get some pressure for you. I don't know. I mean, Byron Young's a really good player, so I don't, if he can reach that. Let's hope. Yeah, I got him there. He's everywhere. I've seen him top 3, 2 damn near. I've seen him like an 8, 9. Yeah, polarizing list is this edge rushing class. Speaking of which, T.J. Parker at Clemson again. I loved what I saw last year. I didn't think he fell too off this year. Like the whole Clemson team, it wasn't as dramatic, empathetic as Penn State was, but it was pretty close. We'll talk about with Peter Woods and Cade Klubnik and Antonio Williams and Arnold. There's a lot of them that I still like to some degree. Good pass rush plan. He knows what to do. He has some step, jab here, jab there. Good inside guy. I think you can line him up pretty much anywhere. Strong enough guy. Doesn't know how to get his hand use. That could get better. And countering what the lineman does. I don't know if he'll be the quickest outside guy with these linemen or with the tackles in this league. And again, you question the production. Why wasn't it so good this year? He's probably getting double teamed a lot, with Woods. They're just as long as these two guys don't fully disrupt us, that's the plan. Get the ball out quickly, screens, run the ball. I'm sure that was the plan for a lot of offenses this year. And even with saying that, I saw a stat where Clemson had the most pressure on their opponents' quarterbacks than any other team or something, some shit relative to that. Don't know if he has a lot of injury histories. I hope not, but I'm thinking at his best, healthy Bradley Chubb, which I think he did play a little outside linebacker with Miami the time he spent there. So I don't know if TJ could do that as well. Again, I kind of want these guys, these bigger guys, to just put their hand in the dirt and just be a good D end. What happened to D ends these days? Everyone's copying the Steelers as always, running these 3-4 outside linebacker rushers. But I mean, if that's what he can do, he's capable of doing, then why not do it? Just like this guy, who definitely should be doing this. What I just said. David Bailey out of Texas Tech, first round pick. He'll be top, let's just say 12, just to be generous. You saw him in top 5s from the early off season. Now you see him, dropping down boards a little bit. But that's why, with the Arvell Reeses of the world and Ruben Bain, obviously. If I put Arvell Reese at edge, he'd probably be 2. To be honest with you guys, but I still like David Bailey a lot. Good pursuit. He'll chase down the quarterback no matter what's scrambling or not. Good change of direction. Good hip to him. He can move. Just a good guy at see ball, get the quarterback. Gap discipline. It could be a little better. He just wants to go off to the edge and attack the quarterback. Might leave a hole for the running back, or and just overall play strength. I think he could be a little bit either tougher or just get in the weight room more and really have an anchor to him to be able to shed blockers consistently. Nick Benito, who is a really great player. Talk about top 10 edge rusher nowadays. I think that's the ceiling. I hope. I don't know. I try to be modest with these comps, but it's I just want to get fun players that we know onto here. So I guess I can see a world where he can be a bust, but let's hope not. The league is funner when there's more good players playing in the league. And number 1, of course, for me and for a lot of people is Ruben Bain Jr. out of the U, first round pick for sure. heavy hand, strong guy, good bend to him, line him up anywhere. They would do things where, like, they'd have 3 guys over here, and then Ruben Bain and, like, Deontay Scott on this side, covering the whole other side of the line. And it's like, try to run this way. Very good. And that would, like, work most of the time. So, very good run support. Just a menace. Insane first step at times, like, especially that national championship game, y'all. Like, he really kept them in that game, and just, I don't know who the fuck which Indiana tackle he was just, like, literally just going off with. And of course, him and Mazador was, bullying our offense, and made, Julian Sang lost as fuck. So I got ultimate respect to these guys. I as you see, I'm not a biased reporter, and I can respect a game. If we lose to a great team, it's because they're a great team, and he's a great player. So I want to see him do well in this league. Pursuit, there's some left to be desired at times, especially like zone runs. If you could chase him down, get the edge, and run gaps. Again, he might be a little too on the outside, trying to get a tackle for loss, or thinking it's a pass play. Brandon Graham, you're going to see a lot because high motor, good production, and the arm length issue. But again, as I always say, if the arm length is that big of a problem, why are we wasting hours and hundreds, thousands of dollars recruiting these players? Why don't we? Hey, go to the UFL, kid. We need to be in the lab of making these guys have giant wingspans, if that's really how it is. Great football player playing football. That's why I got him in one, folks. This has been my fun and fast yap session of the edge rushers class. We'll be back with probably quarterback next. I'll give you guys a really good hour, whenever that is, and then safeties, D-line is probably easy. I'm still finalizing my running back rankings. I don't even have my top 10 locked down yet. I'm at 7 because that class is you guys have already heard about it. But yeah, this has been your boy King Caleb here, signing the fuck out.